that were of a high reputation. Basically, they had a high status within the Roman Empire. And so they would learn of Yahawashi and Paul in secret. All right, so you have secret disciples and secret believers of the gospel which we teach, all right, that are of a high position in this world, just like you had in the ancient world. Lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. So let me get, I will also here, let me just look up that word, for patient's sake. I did tell you guys to look it up for yourself, but we'll do the work here. So Galatians, as you see the word ethnos, and you know, blue letter obviously goes off here and there and tries to thwart you in different directions, but the right definition here would be a multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus.
Beautiful. Yep.
Okay, that's what, if you know, keep it in line with the context of the scriptures of Galatians and primarily the New Testament. You hear it about Greeks and heathens. These would be Israelite foreigners. Real quick, actually, since I'm talking about that, because although we've done tons of videos and lessons on this, we have new believers every day. So we mostly have to go back into these basics concerning the Gentile Israelite foreigners and bring out these precepts, which are staples for topics like this. So I'm going to go to Maccabees, 2 Maccabees 6. Just gives you a lowdown or a rundown on what was going on when the Greeks were ruling, and what was going on with us while the Greeks were ruling. We were fighting them, fighting for our independence, and we did under the 5 sons of what's his name again? Akim, help me out here. What's that? He has 5 sons again. He's a priest in the Maccabees.
Slips me.
Yeah.
Man. Judas Maccabeus was his son. Jonathan, he had Simon. But what was the father's name again? Okay, let me just.
I'll get it for you.
Let's go to the water. Mattathias?
Oh yeah, Mattathias. Yeah.
Mattathias, right?
Yeah.
Right. So under Mattathias and his sons, we fought for independence, and we did have independence for a bit, but then the Romans took over, right? And we were under subjection. But in that gap period where we were fighting for independence, a lot of things happened with the Israelites and these Grecians. Okay, so the 2 chapter 6, verse 1 in the GNT, it says, "Not long after that, the king sent an elderly Athenian to force the Jews to abandon their religion and the customs of their ancestors. He was also to defile their temple by dedicating it to the Olympian god Zeus. The temple on Mount Gerizim was to be officially named Temple of Zeus, the power or the god of hospitality, as the people who lived there had requested. The oppression was harsh and almost intolerable. Gentiles, and these are natural Gentiles, so actual heathens. Gentiles filled the temple with drinking parties and all sorts of immorality. Yeah, what do you call those group things that they have? Orgies. All kinds of different wicked things were happening. They even had intercourse, exactly, with prostitutes there, and you had male and female prostitutes, okay, in that time. Forbidden objects were brought into the temple, and the altar was covered in detestable sacrifices prohibited by our law. It was impossible to observe the Sabbath, right, to celebrate any traditional festivals, or even as so much as to admit to being a Jew. You see? So this is why we stress at Great Millstone, starting with the apostles and elders on down, we stress, all right, the Israelite foreigners, the Gentiles and the Greeks you read about in the New Testament. You have to apply, you have to do your research to understand the context. of whatever it is you're reading in the New Testament, because most likely it's talking about Israelite fighters. Okay, and even with the word Helen, which is Greek, right? Helen and Hellenistas, both those words represent the Israelite. Hellenista, okay, was an Israelite, all right, that know they were Israelite and were completely keep the customs and the traditions of the heathens completely. Then you had a Helen who maybe had a Roman citizen or Greek citizenship, but he knew he was an Israelite, but they spoke the Greek language. All right, so you had those that knew they were Israelites, but were living among the heathens and spoke the language of the heathens, and those that were doing the same thing and taking it even further because they didn't know they were Israelites. So each month, when the king's birthday was celebrated, the Jews were compelled by brute force to eat the intestines of sacrificial animals. And during the festival in honor of the wine god Dionysus, they were required to wear ivy wreath on their heads and march in procession. Okay, and in college, you see a lot of that, showing you a lot of those fraternities and frat clubs. They go back to Greco-Roman traditions with the toga and the ivy leaf. Okay, verse 8, and on the advice of Ptolemy, the neighboring Greek cities were also instructed to require Jews to eat the sacrifices. They were told to put to death every Jew who refused to adopt the Greek way of life. It was easy to see that hard times were ahead. Okay, so obviously through this evil time, you have a lot of Jews that were committing themselves to the Greek fashion, the heathens, and just to live. And then they taught their kids, and the kids taught their kids, and so on and so on and so forth, up until the point where you have Israelites literally calling themselves Greek, knowing that they're Israelites, just like us before we came into truth. We were calling ourselves all kinds of different names and nationalities, so-called nationalities, not knowing that we were Israelites. So moving on here, Galatians 2:3, it says, but neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. Oh yeah, and let's look up this word Greek here. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the Helen, as you see the word here, Helen and Hellenista. So Helen.
Strong's G 1672, Helene. Helene.
And again, Blue Letter will try to throw you off when it comes when it comes to particular words like this. So it says here in the definition, a Greek either by nationality, whether a native or of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. It says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. So, I mean, obviously they're going off here. You go into the Zamradin Bible dictionary, it goes into the word Helen and Hellenista, and it talks about Israelites. It basically gives you the definition I just gave you earlier. But as Blue Letter is going off here and saying that it's all nations, not the Jews, okay? But we just read that the Jews were getting killed if they were committing themselves over to the Greek lifestyle. So they're going off. It says here, customs and learning of Greek their own. And learning of the Greeks their own. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. So they see, even says here, a Greek, means Strong's definition, a Greek-speaking person. So that could be any person that speaks Greek. That's all that means. All right, so going back, Galatians 2:4, and that because of false brethren unaware brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahawashi HaMashiach, that they might bring us into bondage, to whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. So basically, Paul and the men that were with him, they faced opposition by other Israelites that knew they were Israelites and called themselves believers of YAHAWASHI. But they were what? They basically were crept unaware. And basically you had a lot of Israelites who were jealous of these heathens receiving the Holy Spirit, right? And receiving the understanding of the scriptures. Because you had a great division between basically Judah, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the northern kingdom. The majority of them were over here already in America, or in the Americas, and some of them were left over there in the Middle East. But even within the southern kingdom, you had a sect of people, a sect of Israelites that kept their traditions and customs and basically envied those Israelites that were sincere in their hearts and believed, all right, but were living like heathens before they received the truth. So they were trying to do the same thing with Paul and Barnabas and the men that were with him. That's basically what he's explaining.
Got a precept for you.
Come on, go ahead up.
It's Jude 1:4.
Con.
And it's basically you had brethren of the stock of Israel who basically was under the banner of only subscribing to the laws and the prophets, right? They weren't preaching Yahushua, and that was causing a division. And because it sounds like they were sincere, right? But they weren't accepting Yahushua, so they came in basically with strife and contention, right? So Jude 1:4.
So Jude 1:4, it says, "For there are certain men crept in unawares."
That's right, to cause contention, right? It wasn't with a contrite heart towards the doctrine. It was no different than when Yahushua was being tempted by those wicked Pharisees, asking about if his ox fell in on the Sabbath,
Right.
would you go and get it?
Yeah, the lamb, the sheep that fell in his ditch.
So that's, and to this day still, right? That's what the apostles always say, be careful. I mean, mindful about people, you're letting the camp and your buddy with, because they're spies within the truth. Maybe not like police officers or whatever, but man, you never know. To cause a rift, right, within the brethren.
That's right. Real quick, that word privily and privy, it goes, wow. When you go into the word actually, and some of the meanings that come out, what you just mentioned there, I just want to say it. It says meant to be secret or confidential. So when you see that word secret or confidential, these men that come in, man, they con their way in. They can deceive. I mean, if it says unaware, so they're going to con their way in. I just wanted to bring that out. That's what the word privily. They con their way in. So they're doing a special work. Just wanted to say that. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's right. So it says, Jude 1:4, for there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation. Ungodly men.
That's right. So they're ungodly. Here it is. Paul is bringing the doctrine to encompass like proselytes, right? To make people a believer in Yahushua, and saying, because guess what? If they were going to go by the law alone, every single person standing there would be dead. Right? Because you're not saved by the law, right? Doesn't mean you're supposed to disregard it.
Right.
But if the law was going to, I'll get into it anyway, but keep reading.
Okay. So it says, ungodly men turning the grace of our power, Yahweh.
So grace. So a grace has been given, and grace doesn't mean you're forgiven a debt. It means you have time to make that debt right. So that's what they're not understanding, right? And who here is can say, oh, they don't need grace. Everybody needs time, man. Needs time to get your mind right, so the spirit can
right.
marinate and permeate within you, right? To say, you know what? I surrender, I submit, and I'm sorry.
God.
Right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
That's right. Turning the grace of our power Yahawah by Shai into lasciviousness.
Yep.
And denying the only Lord Yahawah by Shai, or Yahawah, and our Lord YAHAWASHI HAMASHIYACH.
And that word lasciviousness is going into like a sexual act, right? A lewd sexual act.
Mhm.
Right? Do it.
Yeah, Khan.
Bakasha.
Let's see right here. So this word in the Greek, this is how you say it.
Strong's G 766. As Elgaya. As Elgaya.
So it reads, it says, unbridled lust, excess, licentiousness, lasciviousness, wantonness. It sounds like pronouncing a bunch of Jake women. Yeah, a bunch of Jake women names: Shaquisha, Laquisha, Kinwanta. Yeah, exactly. Wantonness, outrageousness, shamelessness, insolence.
So it's a bunch of unfamiliar words. So it's basically unfamiliar behavior, man. Like, it's going into like basically homosexuality.
Yeah.
You're like it into an outcast, man. That kind of behavior.
Yeah, and homosexuality is one of the strongest lust, right? So that's a heavy demon if you got that on you and you're in the truth. It's a heavy demon, man. And it says here, sometimes including other vices. So it can branch out to other things. So vices are things that basically hold your time while while what are you doing, or while you have off time. So a lot of Israelites basically come to camp, teach the word, do their videos, but on their off time, they're into all these kind of different vices that are really not good for their spirit. It's wickedness. We might not be able to see it, but the Most High, YAHAWAH sees it.
Right.
That's right.
A decree has been made now by the apostles by saying all those affiliate camps, right, to fall in, because guess what? They have no one to report to. So yeah, they might go out and preach the word one day, whatever, but they don't want to have men over them to say, hey man, I'm out. I saw you walk, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there must be a reason why you don't want to come in.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you're not ready to let go of certain things.
Elder Salakia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Elder Apostle Tahar on his video last night said, there's no affiliates if you're not coming under the order, which meaning checking in with your regional heads. Don't even give double honors.
That's right.
Con. Yep, beautiful. That's it on that up. Con. All right. So going back here, let me grab one scripture too, actually, real quick. I'll go to John 8 and 31. So John 8 and 31, and it reads in King James. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Free from what? Free from, if you're of the elect, okay, free from the judgment of being under these, from being in subjection in these bodies. These bodies are subjected to sin. You see? So it says, they answered him, we be Abraham's seed. So these are people, these are Israelites that believe on Yahushua, right? As we read earlier, but they're going back and forth with him, telling him, we be Abraham's seed, and we're never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? So they already thought they were free. They already thought they were good, basically, right? Because why? They were thinking about the law. They're thinking about what they're doing, the works that they're doing, or the acts that they're doing, and not thinking about the ones that they're not doing. Because the scriptures say that if you break one law, you break all of them.
Con.
So, verse 34, it says, YAHAWASHI answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And we've all committed sin, so we're all servants to it in this body. It says, the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the son abideth forever. Right. YAHAWASHI is the Alpha and the Omega. You see, he's the beginning and the end. He's the beginning of our fall and the end of our captivity in these bodies.
Correct.
It says, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you. You see, what Jake don't like is that when you tell Jake that, you know what, your works don't actually get you saved. You know, your works just show that your works just show what you truly believe in. That's all they do. They identify what you truly believe in. It's really your faith and the sacrifices of the mind, of the spirit that you're making day in and day out. You know, alms, you know, doing your lessons, having a character that like YAHAWASHI did, you know, in your everyday life. These are sacrifices of the mind, characteristics. But Jake is more into, as you see among Israel, more into getting numbers, selling T-shirts, you know, shoes, hats. It's all about fame and it's all about fame and glory in this world, instead of reverencing YAHAWASHI and focusing on, you know, being humble and focusing on this grace period that we got. That's just about done too. I know ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. Remember, he was talking about Satan.
We go to 48.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, God. I'll skip down. It says 48.
No, it's maybe 44. Go.
Oh, 44. Yeah, it's 44.
Yeah, fine.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. Right? And you know what, Jake? And you know what's a huge, I guess, characteristic of that is jealousy.
Yeah.
You know? Men coming in and getting jealous of other men, and so on and so forth. That gives Satan a foothold, okay, in your spirit. So it says he was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He is a liar and the father of it. That's right.
If I may add.
Yeah, go ahead.
And if you're in the spirit of jealousy, you know, you got to pray and fast on that.
True.
You know, because that means you're not in the spirit. You know,
True.
and like the elder said, you're just providing a loophole for Satan to come in and pollute your thoughts.
That's right. Yeah. So going back here, Galatians chapter 2, verse 5, it reads, to whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you, but of these whom seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. Yahweh accepteth no man's person. So Paul is basically saying that, or actually, I'll finish it and I'll read it in NLT. It says, for they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. So in the NLT, it says, verse 6, I'll just read off my phone. And the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. By the way, their reputation as great leaders made no difference to me. For YAHAWAH, while Simeon has no favorite.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he had men that was over him, like you know, that was the so-called "I'm over you" kind of thing. He's like, listen, man, I don't care what position you have. What you're teaching is not the truth.
Khan. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why Paul, everywhere he went, he created such a ruckus in the spirit, man, because he was bold and he wasn't a respecter of persons as well.
That's right.
You know?
Wasn't getting to that Peter was over him.
Khan.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man.
Heads.
Khan. And that's a beautiful lesson that we're about to read, man, because I've been hearing that recently from elders as well, doing lessons about, you know, even for younger brothers, man, this is not to teach insubordination or anything like that or disrespect your elders, but it's all about the truth in the end of the day, more than the rank of a man. You know, so if a man has a higher rank than you or whatever, nothing wrong with rank, right? It's all about rank is good for order's sake, right? But if a brother has a higher rank than you and he's going off in the scriptures and you're aware of that, you're privy to that, you gotta do something about it. You gotta bring it up to that brother and correct it in the scriptures.
Yep. That's right.
But the way to do things, you know, don't just in the highways.
Right. Exactly. Because you know what? Exactly. Because that just shows a lack of wisdom, and also it might show, if you're not sincere, that you're actually not sincere. Basically.
True.
Yeah. You know, you got to pull brothers over to the side one-on-one. It tells you that in the scriptures. So Galatians 2:7, but contrary-wise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of circumcision was to Peter, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles. Okay, so YAHAWASHI MILLSTONE. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be the pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship. You know, that so basically they accepted them as brothers, you know, of the truth, because they were coming in, you know, it was a big thing for the Gentiles, which are Israelites, to receive this truth. All right, it was a huge thing. So when Paul was set up by YAHAWASHI to do this, it kind of basically ruffled the feathers of a lot of Israelites that were believers of YAHAWASHI, because they thought, okay, we can claim this truth and this knowledge to ourselves, and we're better than all the other Israelites that are living like heathens. You know, little did they know you had a certain amount of those Israelites that truly believe in YAHAWASHI and their spirit, they just weren't privy to the knowledge yet. They gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision. And the heathen, the word there is Helen. Okay. So it says, and the circumcision obviously would be the Israelites, all right, the Jews or the Israelites, and were Israelites. So it goes on to say, only they would. It says, only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forward to do. Yeah, let me get 2 precepts on that.
Precept.
Come on. Go ahead. You can bring yours out first.
Probably the same thing. Romans 15:26.
Oh, no, I had Hebrews.
Okay.
So Romans 15.
I think Psalms 149.
15 and 6, right?
15 and yeah. 15 and 26. 15 and 26.
Okay. So Romans 15, verse 26, and it reads, for it has pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem.
That's right. So so you see, it's going back into the saints, right? And those are the poor. And I can prove that with Psalms. You have to go there. Psalms is 149 and 5. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praise of YAHAWADAH be in their mouth, the two-edged sword.
Con.
So like I read from top.
Yep.
It's Psalms 149. Praise the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and a praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful of their king. So basically, the saints are the Israelites.
That's right.
So that's who the poor was that they're referring to in Galatians 2 and is it 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
10.
10. Yeah. This is Hebrews 13 and 16. It says, but to do good and to communicate, forget not. So what does that mean? Help a brother out in whatever shape or form or fashion you can. And don't forget to, how to communicate with brothers, I don't know how it works in every camp, of course, but, most of the time you probably see brothers maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, or maybe even once a week because of camp. Don't forget to ask brothers how they're doing, how the week is going, simple conversation stuff. It doesn't have to be crazy or deep. It's just, you checking in on brothers, seeing how they're doing. For with such sacrifices, and these are likened to sacrifices, YAHAWAH is well pleased. Let me go from here. I go to James.
Scriptures say, charity hideth a multitude of sins.
Right. Yeah.
Paraphrasing, right? And that charity is being brotherly towards your brother in the faith.
Con.
It also says in Psalms 133:1, it pleases the Lord when brethren dwell together.
Right. That's right. And it's crazy that you got brothers that, or you got men that boast in their charity, how much charity they've done and whatnot. When the charity you've done is really to clean up your own sins. So how can you really boast in charity? It says James 2 and 15. If a brother or sister be naked, so that just means without. Okay, be without anything, even a ride home. Okay, and destitute of daily food. And one of you say unto them, these are what Christians like to do. Okay, depart in peace, be ye warned and filled. Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body. What doeth it profit? Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. So, if you have a brother that comes to you and it's in need of some extra money because he needs some new work boots to start his new job, and you tell him, okay, brother, I'll put it into prayer for you, and Lord willing, you get those boots, and you have the extra money to help him with those boots. What's the point of doing that instead of giving him the extra money to help him with the boots? You see, and Christians live with that kind of mindset because really they don't understand, and a lot of Israelites live with that mindset because they don't actually understand what they're involved in. Okay, they think it's just all about them, about me, instead of actually the body and what YAHAWASHI wants.
The other thing on Instagram or TikTok where Jake saw his pastor stranded in the road.
Yeah.
You saw that one?
Yeah.
Pastor asked him for help. And he goes, no, just pray and have faith. It'll come. And left him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So Galatians 2:11. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision.
So Peter at one point, he's like, he's cool with them when no one's looking, right? But then when you see the men who crept in unawares, those Jews was there to, cause contention. He pretended like he wasn't down with it. Right. Paul's like, you're not being truthful.
Con, exactly. That's a beautiful lesson for all of us to learn from. It says here, verse 3. Yeah, go ahead, Ak. You got a piece?
Yeah, a quick one. You don't have to go to it. It's just a lamb backing, being charitable to amongst the brotherhood. Sirach 12:2. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, and if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, or else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. Right. So once again, know who you're doing good to. This personal testimony. This morning I was driving through Timmy's, and fire department was they had these buckets trying to collect cash for a quote unquote good cause. Want to give money to the whatever it is. And that scripture came to my mind. Know who you're doing good to. Help not a sinner. And these people, they say it's for kids and whatever, and they're all P to the E to the D to the O's.
That's right. That's right.
And you're gonna give them money. Meanwhile, they're sex magic.
That's right. That's right, man.
A quick one. You have to go there. This is Acts 10:13-15, and it concerns Peter. And there came a voice to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "No." Said, "Not so, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, for I have never eaten anything that is uncommon or unclean." And the voice spake unto him again, second time, "What Yahawah has cleansed, that call not thou common."
Right.
So that's what is happening right here now. Peter is known for that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. It's true. He is known for that, and it's crazy too. It's interesting to think about because it just goes to show you how serious that lot of Israelites that were keeping the laws to the best of their abilities, how serious they were about it, and how serious they were about that dissension they had with the other Israelites. Man, even Peter himself was like, So, anyways, and the other verse 13, and the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, and so much that Barnabas also, the guy that came with Paul, that's funny. That Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation. Yeah. And it says, but when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if thou, being a Jew, liveth after the manner of Gentiles, and not as the Jews, not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Right? It says, we who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law. So they were basically still in that kind of spirit, a little bit, being like, well, these Israelites don't have any works to even be called into this truth, kind of thing. We've done all these different things, so let's just keep ourselves separate from this guy, from these people. In the NLT, I want to read verse 14 real quick, and it reads, when I saw that they were not following the truth of the gospel message, I said to Peter in front of all the others, since you, a Jew by birth, have discarded the Jewish laws and are living like a Gentile, why are you now trying to make those Gentiles follow the Jewish traditions? See? Right? So yeah, that was beautiful that happened, man. It really is. Again, what's that scripture says that things are written for aforetime, written for our learning. So let me read this from the comment board. This is from Requai. Shalom to the brothers and sisters on the comment board as well. We got other precepts, Yasharahla 144. I'll read this one first. This is from Yasharahla 144 concerning charity. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sin. Yep. Brother Require Flowing Brook says 1 Corinthians 13:2, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. You see? Always gotta look out for the brotherhood, man. Always gotta look out for your brothers. Because remember, when Yahawashi comes back, he's gonna say, you fed me, you clothed me, right? And you didn't feed me, you didn't clothe me when I was naked. You know, and all that's gonna be tied to what you did to brothers and what you didn't do to brothers. So verse 16, and it reads, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahawashi, HAMASHIYACH, even we have believed in Yahawashi HAMASHIYACH, that we might be justified by the faith of Yahawashi HAMASHIYACH, and not by the works of the law, for by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Yeah, man, because basically what we're a part of and what we're in, like when you look at it, like its face value, there's no way out. There's no way out for Israel because we're subject unto sin according to these bodies, right? And Yahawashi doing what he did, fulfilling his lot as a sacrifice for the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, is it's such a huge thing because now, even though we fall, all right, when it comes to keeping the laws, okay, because of our faith in Yahawashi, we have an opportunity to keep persevering in this grace period, right? Because that's how when you're a part of something that basically tells you that there's no point in doing, or that tells you that there's basically, for lack of a better term, there's no point in doing this, and you're supposed to continue anyways unto the end. You have to have faith to do something like that. That's what Yahawashi is looking for, is faith. You know, and through your faith, depending on your level of faith, you're going to manifest works according to your level of faith. Beautiful. They're not going to be perfect, but you know they're going to be accepted.
Got a quick precept once your number back, Kusha.
Could you just quickly read that again in the NLT, brother? Because you brought up the fruit, the nature of the whole entire lesson right there. This is the verse I was waiting for. If you could read it in NLT again, and then brother, you can get your precept.
So Galatians 2:16 NLT. Yet we know that a person is made right with Yahweh by faith in Yahawashi HaMashiach.
Yeah, that would be the saints. Okay. Right at the beginning of this lesson, going into the Gentiles. Right. And you brought up the great point that just shall live by his faith. Whose faith? Right there, Yahawashi HaMashiach. Right? By his works. By his works that's working through us by faith. Yeah. Continue.
That's right. Not by obeying the law.
And all that means is that when it says that, it doesn't mean that you're not seeing the law. It just means you cannot keep the law. That's all it means, because Yahawashi is showing you how to keep the law by faith. Right?
Right.
If you people could understand what I just said on the air over there. Right? So that's why it says not by obeying the law. It's by following Yahawashi so that you can keep the law in spirit and in truth, right? Because the flesh is, weak, but the spirit is always on point. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, Yahawashi was like, and it says, I'll read it one time. It says, not by obeying the law. And Yahawashi was a physical manifestation of the law refreshed.
That's right.
You know, so if you went backwards and we're focusing on the Levitical priesthood, okay, and not focusing on the new priesthood or the refreshed priesthood, which is under Melchizedek, which is Yahawashi, we believe that to be Yahawashi. You know, you're basically, we're setting yourself up for failure, and we're already failures because we're in the flesh. You know what I mean? So now, when you deny Yahawashi, you're a double failure, as opposed to just losing in the flesh and winning in the spirit.
Just want to show you how bad Paul was about all this this back and forth with Peter, it wasn't just a mild thing. Even though they didn't go to 5 and 12, Galatians 5 and 12. Just just to see how mad he was at this conversation here they're having.
Malak, you want me to finish it? Malak, you want me to finish your piece first?
Yeah, just read on and that's it. Because you basically broke it down before you read the precept. Your brothers broke it down, so I was just going over it for those at home, just in case they missed it. Continue.
Okay, so I'll finish it up and then we'll get
yours. Yeah, finish it up and then get the precepts. Yeah.
Galatians 2:16 NLT. Yet we know that a person is made right with Yahweh by faith in YAHAWASHI HAMASHIYACH, not by obeying the law. And we have believed in YAHAWASHI HAMASHIYACH so that we might be made right with Yahweh because of our faith in YAHAWASHI, not because we have obeyed the law. For no one will ever be made right with Yahweh by obeying the law.
All right. So just in case somebody turned the TV on and said, those guys, Great Millstone, don't believe in the law. That's not what is being said here. It's just simply, the language is just coming out as, simply put, you're not going to be able to keep the law perfectly unless YAHAWASHI is in your life by way of the Spirit. Right? And that's all it really is in a nutshell. Right? Because in your flesh, you can't keep the law.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And that's heavy, man, because even in the spirit, we can't, well, you could say, I want to say in the spirit, we can't keep the law, but we're keeping, we're just, because we have faith in YAHAWASHI, we're going to be exempted from judgment. That's it.
That's right. He's actually doing the work. That was the point. Right? That's a beautiful point, brother.
Right. Person in the KJV didn't go to NLT.
Okay, Khan. 5 and what verse?
12.
Okay, Khan. So Galatians 5 and 12. I would they were even cut off, which trouble you.
Can I read NLT?
Okay, Khan. So NLT, I'll just get it right here.
Because they're so obsessed with the circumcision and all this stuff.
Right.
Paul says this.
And NLT, I just wish that those troublemakers who want to mutilate you by circumcision would mutilate themselves.
Yeah. Cut off your own mouth.
Wow.
Right.
He was passionate, man. He was passionate.
It was heated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, a practical example of that is a new brother can come in the truth, and you're pressuring him to get circumcised, and that should not happen. And I remember that never happened in the truth while I was in the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are examples. Slaka, go ahead. That was the point.
My bad.
That's the example.
I was just going to say that pressure should come from within. That's all.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And it does.
So going back to Galatians 2 and 17, it says, but if while we seek to be justified by YAHAWASHI, we ourselves also are found sinners. In therefore YAHAWASHI, the minister of Slaka, is therefore YAHAWASHI the minister of sin? Yahweh forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I, through the law, am dead to the law, that I might live unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? So that basically goes into the fact that the reason why the Most High set it up this way, he wanted it for us to receive the salvation through faith, access through faith, is so that no man can boast. If the Most High left it to, okay, there's 613 laws, and the best Israelite is the Israelite that keeps the most laws out of 613. Jake would be wicked as all hell, man. Killing each other, stealing, all kinds of different things. Frame, and they're still doing it now, even without that being the case.
That's right.
So there was no sense of boasting, man. We all came from shit, all looking for salvation.
Mm-hmm.
If I may add, like look at for instance, those that are circumcision, the southern kingdom, you know, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you know, Genesis 49, you know, it says all his brothers, all of Judah's brothers shall bow to him, roughly paraphrasing. So Judah was already, you know, very like, you know, we are the circumcision, we are the ones, right? So they were proud.
Yeah, overly proud because their spirit was set up to be that way because of their head tribe.
Right.
But they were overly proud. Yeah. Can you imagine how Judah must have felt when YAHAWASHI came on the scene and they knew that he came from Judah, like the prophecies say? You know, they were doing too much, for lack of a better term, man. I make myself a transgressor. It says, for I through the law am dead to the law, that I might live unto Yahweh Shemel Shai. I am crucified, and that's, you know, it's beautiful to be in this humbling state that we're in, because if you're sincere, the continual hell and I guess stress and suffering that comes with being in this flesh, it makes you turn to Yahweh Shemel Shai in for everything. Okay, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, because that's how our relationship is repaired. All right, with Yahweh through YAHAWASHI is by constantly being humbled. I am crucified with YAHAWASHI, nevertheless, which means what? We also are going to, you know, partake in sufferings of our own, right? Because the servant's not greater than the master. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but YAHAWASHI liveth in me. And that's heavy, man. Because hey, up until what happened with Trump a couple days ago, man, I know a lot of elders and brothers were kind of like, yo, we need something. You know, like we need that jolt. And that helped with a lot of brothers that happening, you know. So basically, the reason why I'm bringing that up is just to say that don't ever think, you know, if you have when you have your good weeks or your good days, or don't ever think you're you're able to do those things of your own power. It's YAHAWASHI, it's the spirit of Yahweh Shai that's within us.
That's right.
You know, and the life which I know live in the slacking, and the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of Yahweh.
That's right.
Right. So you're going to be put in, you know, we live a life in this flesh. We have our jobs, we have our families and whatnot. So you're going to be put in situations that are going to be tricky. Right. And you're going to have to apply YAHAWASHI, right, and practicality in the spirit. Okay.
That's right.
Who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of Yahweh Shemel Shai, for if righteousness come by the law, then YAHAWASHI is dead in vain. Yeah, it's true. True. Beautiful, man. So that's Galatians chapter 2. I don't got any other precepts. I don't know if brother got any precepts or statements they want to bring out.
Real quick. Yeah, I just want to show the process in prophecy, because what we just went through there was prophecy for you folks at home. Right? And a lot of history, which was prophecy when it happened, in how we ought to function. And really, who's doing this work? A work through the saints. So if you could go to the book of Revelation and read it from the NLT, the 8th chapter, just read from the 2nd verse on down to the 5th verse.
Slacky, where do you want me to go again?
Revelation 8, right? And read it from the NLT. Okay, this just shows what our Savior is doing on the behalf of the saints, and that we cannot, as you say, boast or claim any of it, because he's doing a work by faith. And you just mentioned it there at the end, just in case folks missed it. In submission to him spiritually. I'm paraphrasing your words, brother. Salaki for that. Right? So this is going on. This is under the heading, "The Lamb breaks the 7th seal." So in prophecy, it's showing you what he's been doing all along. He did it with Abraham. He did it with Noah, and so on and so on, and right down to the final end. So this is the process. You can start at the start from the first verse and read, brother. The point comes home in about the 5th verse.
Okay.
Where we stop, and that's all I have.
Okay. So it says here the Lamb breaks the 7th seal, Revelation 8:1.
Mm-hmm.
When the Lamb broke the 7th seal on the scroll, there was silence throughout the heaven for about half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the 7 angels who stand before Yahawah, and they were given 7 trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
Then says, then another angel with a gold incense burner came to and stood at the altar, and a great amount of incense was given to him to mix with the prayers of YAHAWASHI's people.
Hey, those are the saints. It says it in the other translation, KJV. It says the saints, but there it says prayers of God's people. So you always mention. The blue that like to go off to make it seem like it's talking about everybody.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, an offering, Yahweh's people as an offering on the gold altar before the throne. Right.
So those prayers and those deeds and those alms that the Spirit quickened by faith, His faith, the saints, it's the Lord that's making it righteous. And this is what this is the process of how it happens, right? And we see all these angels involved. Okay, and last month the Lord sent an angel. Anyway, continue, brother. Just for the record.
To the LA camp there.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4: the smoke of incense mixed with the prayers of
the saints, or the holy people. Go ahead.
Yahweh's holy people ascended up to Yahawah from the altar where the angel had poured them out. Man, you can only imagine how, because they got a whole the tabernacle that Moses set
that's
up.
The spirit, brother. Talk about it, brother. Bring it out.
I was just going to say that the tabernacle that Moses set up, and even after the pattern that Solomon set up, which Solomon got the pattern from David, and David is Moses, so that kind of makes sense anyways. But it's just, I'm just reading it. As I'm reading this, I'm just thinking like, we can only imagine, YAHAWADAH, man, we're of the elect, but you can only imagine like the order and the priesthood in the heavens, man, and that was supposed to be emulated on earth in perfection.
Well, beautiful point.
The kingdom of heavens would be crazy.
Beautiful point, brother. You said it. That's what Moses was YAHAWASHI there. In symbolic language, he was playing the role of YAHAWASHI. He was the only one permitted. Aaron could not go before. He couldn't go before. He was only permitted once a year, and it was a very scary thing as a high priest in terms of Aaron. But Moses was permitted. He was representing YAHAWASHI. The apostles go into that very deep, right? So yes, it's the same principle here. Now we have Moses the under leader king, right? And we know who he is in prophecy and in spirit and in truth. And he comes back as the under leader to YAHAWASHI. Right. So yes, he did exercise what you just said there on earth through Moses. And who did Moses go and see? YAHAWASHI, the one that was sitting on the mercy seat. All right. Go ahead.
What David said, my Lord, the Lord said unto my Lord, right? Sit on my right hand side until I make your enemies your footstool. Roughly paraphrasing. So that's crazy, man. I could imagine looking at your son and knowing that your son is greater than you know what I mean? Like you look at your son and you're like, you see him grow up and you're like, yo, there's a different spirit on this boy. I know, like to look at him and to think that you're the Most High son. You're not really my son. You know what I mean? That must have been a crazy experience, man.
Beautiful. The saints again. I mean, just to cut all that rhetoric, that nonsense with the lesson that we just finished. The book of Galatians. It's never talking about anyone else in regards to those Gentiles. ethnos that goes back to those that were grafted in from the original vine. You know, the saints, the Israelites,
Yeah.
which are the elect. We know that it was always about the elect. Okay, the Lord was always taking out the elect, man. So that's why you can say in spirit and in truth what you just said there. And how much more the king that the Lord set up unto himself.
Right.
You know. Anyway, that's the point.
So verse 5 it says, "Then the angel filled the incense burner with fire from the altar and threw it down upon the earth, and thunder crashed, lightning flashed, and there was a terrible earthquake."
Hey, Brother Kazak and I was talking just before we came on, right, Brother Kazak, about that earthquake, right? Right?
Gone.
Yeah, because this is going into prophecy at the end there. So that's the last part of it is when the work is finished. And this brother always going to famine of the word. There will come a famine in the word when he throws down the censer. Our Savior. Okay. And we understand what the Day of Atonement goes into, and that's a scary time for us. And that atonement there, the antitypical Day of Atonement, the final work, it's going to come down to a crashing. Okay, and that's a loaded verse there at the end. But yes, the mediatorial work of Yahawashi will be concluded. He will conclude it when the Father tells him it's finished. And we believe by faith that the elect is being sealed. Okay, or some teach that they're all sealed already, which is pretty much the same language, the same tone, right? But that's what that's going into when the work is finished, when he throws down the censer. Anyway, that's all I got, brother.
Okay. Any other precepts or statements before we close up?
I just want to add that that storm just went by just now. It was called Beryl, right?
Right.
And in Daniel 10:6, it speaks of Yahawashi's body being as Beryl. Right? So what comes with that is the earthquake, because it mentioned lightning, you know, and it gave a description of Yahawashi. So it's fitting to call it Beryl because it's destruction. You know, and that's the spirit. You know,
that's right. That's right, man.
They don't want to tell you that he's coming to do it, but they have to tell you. But the elect knows what's going on. All praises to Yahawah Moshe.
We present.
Bring it out, brother.
You touched the going into brotherly love and look after your brothers and so on, especially in this ministry, because we're usually busy with daily life, work, and so on. This is Matthew 5:41 in NLT, and it reads, "If a soldier demands that you carry his gear for a mile, carry for 2 miles." I mean, that doesn't mean you're going to use and abuse your brother because he's helping you out, right? Because it's consequences, right? And in this ministry, it has happened in the past where brothers used other brothers, right? For whatever the reason is.
Right.
Verse 2 says, "Give to those who ask, and don't turn away from those who want to borrow." You know, if a brother needs help, just help him out.
That's right. That's right. God, man. Because, you know, like I said earlier, remember, every time, you know, a brother asks you to help him move or give him a ride home, and you'll say you make an excuse as to why you can't help that brother up, just remember, you're going to have to tell Yahawashi, or when Yahawashi comes that day, he's going to let you know that you didn't do this to him, and he's going to let you know as to why or how you didn't do it to him, because you didn't do it to that brother. You know, we don't want to have to answer the Yahawashi because we didn't help one of his. You know?
That's right.
Con. Beautiful. All right. So that is Galatians, the 2nd chapter. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. And Thawada to the brothers posting up precepts on a comma board. We didn't get to all of them, but Thawada for posting them. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahshua, Bahashim, QADASH. Double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy, all right, to the elect that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. All right, Ball and Qam Yasharahla to the elect. Shalom. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Shalom.